In this video, I will be explaining to you why you are not following through and why the cause of that is not necessarily motivation or discipline, although they are both very important. Actually, the reason why you can't find motivation and discipline is because of your mental model. And I will be explaining your mental model and how that works in a very good example later on. But essentially, what mental model means is how your system of thinking impacts your interpretation of reality. And I will show you with a good example of Genghis Khan how, with his mental model, he was able to conquer basically the world. So, first, I want to do a quick disclaimer where I want to say that I do not support Genghis Khan in any shape or form, and I also think that his ideas are very extreme. But what I want to show you guys is how a guy like Genghis Khan was able to be one of the best conquerors in mankind, and why that was. Because it had to do with his beliefs. He thought that it was not sufficient that he succeeded, but that all others must fail. So for him, winning was not enough. He needed his enemies to lose and to be destroyed. So for him, winning was inevitable, and he would do anything to conquer and destroy his enemies. Okay? Now, what kind of identity did that make him? It made him someone that he thought he was a winner, he was a conqueror, he was a leader, he was destined to be the man for his country and for his bloodline, right? So his identity was very strong because of his beliefs. But how did he actually gotten these beliefs, and how did he get to be a winner, conqueror, leader? Well, he got to be that because of his patterns. He was probably a very good fighter, right? He was a very good fighter, and he always took risks, and he was able to always get into uncomfortable situations and get out stronger, right? And even if he was feeling down, even if he was feeling down, because he needed to be a very good fighter, he needed to take risks, he needed to get into uncomfortable situations and to get out stronger, because winning was inevitable for him, and he needed to destroy his enemies because he was a winner, he was a conqueror, a leader, and he was destined to be the man for his country and his bloodline. It didn't even matter how he was feeling, or it didn't matter if he was feeling down or energized. He was always going to be engaging in his behaviors of being, of training, of taking risks, of getting into uncomfortable situations, because it was just the person that he made himself. Okay? And because he had such a strong mental model, he was able to become Genghis Khan, to become one of the most famous conquerors in mankind. So now I'll be showing another mental model of John. Okay? So John, his mental model is he's trying his best. If he gets lucky, he will get to his goals, and he will just let life play out. Okay? So imagine that John is feeling energized. Okay? If John is feeling energized, he feels good. So he's trying his best. He's letting life play out. So he's now, because he's feeling good, going 3 times to the gym per week. And he did that for 2 weeks, okay? But now what happened is John is now feeling down. Okay, now after these 3 times to the gym for 2 weeks, he's feeling down. So what happens then? Well, because he's just trying his best, and because trying your best isn't very clear, and because he just lets life play out, he will now go 1 time in 3 weeks. Okay? So because he's just trying his best, and because he was feeling down, that can happen because he just lets life play out. He's inconsistent. So he's an inconsistent person, okay? And because he's an inconsistent person, he's just trying his best. And if he gets lucky, he will get to his goals, okay? Because it if you are not able to be consistent, then how can you like be sure to be getting to your goals? Because you can only be assured to be getting to your goals if you are consistent, right? And this system just keeps playing and playing because of him only trying his best, because of him literally being an inconsistent person. He believes to be an inconsistent person because if he's feeling down or if he's feeling energized, he uh, he engages in completely different behaviors. Okay, so a belief that he probably as well has is I my actions are based on my feelings. And this is a very dangerous belief. If your actions are based on your feelings, then you are always going to be doing the things that you want to be doing if you're energized, and not doing the things that you don't want to be doing if you're feeling down. Okay? So, how can we solve this? Like, how can we make sure that John is starting to be a consistent person? Like, how can we make John be consistent? Well, it's actually very easy, right? Like, he just has to not be taking action anymore based on his feeling, but just always be taking action, essentially. Now, how are we going to make sure that we're always going to be taking action? Well, in order to be always taking action, you need to actually believe that you're a consistent person, right? So your identity needs to be that of a consistent person. What I do want to say is always taking action is going to be very difficult. So essentially, if you want to be a consistent person because you want to be going to the gym and you want to gain 10 kilos of muscle, then the only times that you need to be consistent are 3 times, okay? So the first time is after waking up. Why after waking up? Well, because if you wake up, your brain is still in kind of state of mind that it's very susceptible to how you perceive yourself. So if you wake up and you immediately go out of bed, you are going to be thinking as yourself more as a consistent person. So the first rule is to always get out of your bed once you are waking up, okay? Then next point is actually if you have planned to every 2 days going to the gym at 6 p.m., the only time that you have to be consistent is if you start going to the gym. Start going to the gym. And also to just finish the session. Okay? So these are the 3 behaviors that you have to be doing in order to feel like you're a consistent person. Now, how are we actually going to be doing this? Well, what we saw with Genghis Khan is Genghis Khan needed to win because he needed to destroy his enemies, because that was the only way that he was going to be happy, or that was something that would make him very happy. Okay, so you don't have to be like Genghis Khan, but what you can be is, for example, some beliefs that people who believe in God believe is I need to be the best version of myself because God deserves nothing less of me. So imagine you believe that you need to be the best version of yourself because God deserves nothing less of you. How much easier is it then to be going to the gym 2 days at 6 p.m. every 2 days. Or imagine that you are an atheist, then I need to gain 10 kilos of muscle to be to now now imagine that you're an atheist. What you could be believing is I need to gain 10 kilos of muscle because that would make me more confident, and with more confidence I will be with the woman that would make my life 100 times better. So if you're not going to the gym, then then you have less probability to be with the woman that would make your life 100 times better. So by believing these kind of things, and you have to start thinking for yourself, what kind of beliefs, like what do I actually believe for me to be true, and how can I use this in order to be going to the gym every 2 days, no matter how I feel, no matter if I feel down or energized, I will be going every 2 days to the gym, which will then make sure that you start believing that I go to the gym no matter how I feel. And if you start believing that you go to the gym no matter how you feel, you start believing yourself to be a consistent person, which will make you go more and every 2 days to the gym, which then means that your mental model has upgraded. Okay? So I want you guys to be thinking of this. Do some homework. Start thinking, what beliefs can I install in myself right now? What is very important to me? And if is that going to be enough to be going through feeling down and then still going to the gym every 2 days at 6 p.m. Okay? Good luck, guys.